So in today's video, I'm going to be ranking the top tech niches to pick in 2026 and 2025. So as you guys know, breaking into tech can be daunting and it's sometimes difficult to pick which field in tech you want to get into. So this is where I'm going to come in and show you guys exactly a tier list that I have. And like I said, this is subjective, but this is what I believe are the best niches in tech. So let's go ahead and jump straight in. So I'm going to go over this list of different types of niches within tech, going from S to D tier, and just telling you which ones I like if I were starting from scratch and if I would needed help on picking which fields in tech to go into. So let's just go ahead. Help desk, I would say C tier. Help desk is a good beginner level field, but I'll be honest, it isn't the best and most technical field you can pick right out of these fields, and it is the lowest paying field out of all these other fields. So if you guys are brand new into tech and you're already at a lower paying job and you're okay with transitioning to tech and getting pretty much the same amount of pay, then I would say go to help desk. But if you are already in tech or already like in a profession like nursing and you want to get into tech, I do not recommend going to help desk because you're going to see a substantial decrease in your salary. And the last thing you want to do is have a substantial decrease in your salary doing this type of work, which in my opinion, help desk is nice. But the problem with help desk is it doesn't really transfer over to a lot of the technical skills that you're going to be doing in these other types of fields here. So that's why I personally don't recommend help desk as a position for it to be the first one. So that's just what I recommend. And let's now go on to the next one. So sysadmin. So sysadmin are basically people who are basically, it's more of a generic IT position. You're pretty much the IT guy for everything. In this type of position, you can do well with it. It really just depends. I'm gonna say B tier because you are definitely usually paid more than help desk. But the problem with the sysadmin is it's such a generic role, and you're probably gonna be working at an MSP, and you're gonna be doing a lot of different things in this particular position, from troubleshooting to maybe doing help desk types of stuff. But it is a good position to get into. The pay is decent. And it is a good gateway eventually to getting into these higher level paying tech positions. Because at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure all of your guys' goals is to increase your guys' salary and eventually get paid. And some of these roles do pay quite a bit. Okay. I see I do have data both here, so this is actually kind of funny. But data is actually a really high paying field. But the problem with data is there's quite a bit of competition to get into this particular field. But there's a good amount of jobs. There is non-technical positions and technical positions. You can get, do data engineering. You can do data science. You can be a data analyst. There's a lot of different types of field jobs within this particular field. And the cool thing about data is that within the world of AI, we need people who can systemize data, who can look over data, who can clean it, who can actually work within it. Because at the end of the day, this is a field where within AI is going to be even more important. This field, you do have to know a bit of programming depending on what you're doing. There is some business understanding as well when it comes to it. And it is also a very broad field. You may have to know AWS. You may have to know Power BI, you may have to know SQL. There's quite a bit of different things you have to know. And it is a good gateway eventually to get into maybe AWS positions as well, or just cloud in general. So it is a decent field. I wouldn't say it's the best, but now we have data center technician. So data center technician, there's tons of data centers all over the US, all over the world, and there are people who are staffed at these particular data centers to manage the equipment there, whether it's the servers, whether it's the cooling equipment, whether it's the security of it, the firewalls. So data centers, they do need people. The pay for this particular field really depends. Like if you're working at Google, you'll definitely get paid way more than working at a generic data center. But I would say it's very rare you're ever going to make more than 100K per year in this type of role. Very, very rare. And with that being said, I will put it at B tier because it is a decent field to work in, especially if you want to get into a higher paying field, especially within networking, because a lot of the times data center techs work directly with network engineers. Right, like me myself, I always talk with data center technicians. It is a great field to work in. Sometimes there is quite a bit of travel. So if you do like traveling and maybe you have to go to other states. And actually one of my students that I mentored, he actually landed a role at Google as a data center technician. And he gets to travel all over the US. If you guys need help on how to break in, there's going to be a link in the description where I can literally show you exactly how to break into this particular field if you're interested. And then also the next position here is going to be a cloud engineer. So cloud engineering, it is a sexy field. It is a field that a lot of people want to get into because this field, field pays quite a bit, right? I know most cloud engineers make well over 6 figures, but it is considered a senior field sometimes, mainly because you have to understand networking, you have to understand programming, you have to understand the cloud platforms within it. You may have to understand a little bit about SQL. There's quite a bit of different things you're going to be doing in this particular field. So is it a field that I recommend? 100%. I think cloud engineering is here to stay. I think it's a great field. And with that being said, I am going to put it at A tier, right? Because it does pay extremely well. The only problem is it is extremely difficult to get into because the interviewing process is quite stringent and there's a lot of competition as well. A lot of people want to get into this field, but it is very high paying. It is a field that I recommend for anyone who's looking to get eventually, like, this is a field where I wouldn't say is your first position in tech. It's very rare someone goes from zero experience to cloud engineer. Eventually, this is, you maybe become a data center tech, or you become a network engineer, or you become a software engineer that you get into cloud. It's better to get into cloud when you already have a skill set in a certain trade in tech, and then you eventually transition into cloud, right? Next one is going to be networking. As you guys know, I'm a network engineer myself. And to be honest, networking is a fantastic field. It is a backbone of tech. It is a field that I recommend for newbies. And with that being said, I'm going to put it at A tier, right? I'm not going to put it at S tier, mainly because the only problem with networking is you're not getting paid as much as a cloud engineer or a software engineer. That's my only gripe with this particular field. You're never going to make over 200K per year in this particular field. So that's the only problem with it. It is a great field to work in, a lot less competition in this field. So if you guys are trying to break into tech and want a slight advantage, look into networking. Not that many people are doing it. It's what I did. I got into this field with zero experience, and you can literally break into this field with zero experience. You don't need experience to break in. You just need to learn the frameworks. You need to learn the basics of subnetting. You got to learn the OSI model. You got to learn all the fundamental aspects, but then also learn how to configure, troubleshoot devices. There's a lot of different things you have to do, but once you get into this field, it is a field that is quite stable. Wherever job you go to, the network is pretty much the same for the most part, and it does pay well. You can make well over 6 figures in this field. There is less remote positions as opposed to like cloud. Cloud definitely has a lot more remote positions as opposed to networking because there's that physical aspect. But if the bigger the company, most likely there is going to be hybrid or remote positions within networking. But yeah, that's kind of what I do. And if you guys need help on how to become a network engineer, just click the link in my description. I can show you exactly how to become a network engineer. So I'm going to skip data since I don't know why I have it here, but software. So software engineering. So software engineering, if you guys know what it is. You're programming. You're using JavaScript for programming, or using SQL. Maybe you're using Python. Whatever you're using, right? React, Node.js, all these cool programming languages. It is a fantastic field. It pays extremely high. There's tons of remote jobs. The only problem with this field is extremely saturated. Right? A lot of people want to get into software development, and it is a field that unfortunately AI is starting to take over. A lot of the junior software development positions can actually be done by artificial intelligence, and I've seen this firsthand. If you guys have used a program called Cursor AI, you can literally build your own website with it. You can literally just talk to it, have it build your entire website for you and the whole front end, as opposed to just hiring a software dev for that position. So that is the only con with it. The interview process is going to be the most difficult. You have to go through the interview process and go through a bunch of coding interviews and have to learn data structures and algorithms. But I'll be honest, the job satisfaction is quite high for this field. I know a lot of software engineers, they enjoy their work. When today's market, it isn't as good as it was back in like 2015. And another good thing about software is also you can do a lot of freelance work. You can build websites for people. You can write automation scripts for companies. I mean, there's a lot that you can build your own app. You can have your own startup. There's a lot of things to do with software. And that really just comes from you having a good understanding of programming. So I'm going to put software at B tier. And the next thing is blockchain. So I really don't know much about this, but blockchain technology is basically the technology for cryptography. It basically allows smart contracts. It allows us to make payments with cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. It is a field that I really don't know much about, in my opinion. So I can't really make a judgment on it, but I'm just going to put it C tier because I don't really know anyone in this field. If you guys know anyone who's in the blockchain field, let me know. It does have dips in the market. It does have ups and downs based off the bull and bear market within the crypto market. Really, that's how it always sees it. It always seems like there's a startup that wants to start a new crypto. Everyone gets excited, and then it ends up being a pump and dump, right? They're not really interested in the product. They're just interested in the value of that coin that's associated with that company to go up, right? So that's kind of the problem with blockchain. Haven't really seen it used without it being attached to a coin, which everyone gets excited about. So that's a problem with that. Next field is cybersecurity. Cybersecurity. So cybersecurity, honestly, it's a very broad field, and cybersecurity is also a very competitive field right now. Everyone wants to get into it. Every person I talk to who is in college for some sort of computer degree is probably going for cybersecurity. So if you guys are brand new into tech, it's a field that I don't recommend, but it is a field that it is the most interesting to me. So I actually find cybersecurity the most interesting, and it actually has the most not demand, I would say a decent amount of demand, right? There's tons of jobs for cybersecurity. There's tons of remote positions for it, but it does require you to know quite a bit, and it does require you to stick to a particular niche within it, right? You can either be a SOC analyst, you can be a security engineer, you can be a GRC, governance and compliance engineer. I mean, there's so many different things you can do. The thing with cybersecurity is you do need some sort of expertise in some sort of niche, whether it's cloud, whether it's networking, whether it's software, because every job's different. So that's kind of why it's a little bit broad. But honestly, this can honestly go to S tier, to be honest, with cybersecurity, because it pays very well. It's going to be in high demand. The only problem with cybersecurity is that there's tons and tons and tons of competition, right? And I'm gonna be honest, like I'm a network engineer, and I understand that like it's way easier for me to get into network engineering as opposed to cybersecurity, but cybersecurity pays very well, and there's tons of remote aspects to it as well. So next thing is going to be GovTech. What do I think about GovTech? So GovTech is basically working as a government contractor or working for the government, like the United States government. And this is only going to be for, by the way, this is only for the United States, by the way, because that's the market I understand. But basically working in GovTech requires you to have some sort of clearance, whether it's public trust, whether it's secret, whether it's super secret, or what do they call it, top secret clearance, top secret with polygraph. I mean, there's a lot of different levels to it. It is very hard to get into it if you don't already have a clearance. And the only way you can really have your clearance is if you were enlisted in the military and then use that clearance to eventually get into the civilian work and become that. So a lot of people who are actually in GovTech are already like ex-military. So if you're not ex-military and have no connections to it, it is going to be extremely difficult to break in, because companies have to pay upwards of $10,000, $20,000 just to get you the top secret clearance or whatever clearance is required for you. So it is once you're in though, the pay is fantastic. The job life, I mean, like the competition is also lower because you're only competing with people who already have clearances. So it's like way easier for you to find a job. It's just hard for you to get the clearance in general. So I would say if you can get the clearance, this is damn near an A tier, right? The only reason I'm not going to put it S tier is because it's hard to get that clearance. To be fair, the reason it's hard, what makes it hard is also what makes it good, because there's less competition. So that is going to be my tier list of the top fields. I know I didn't put anything in D tier. I'll probably put this in D tier because I don't know what this is doing here, but I mean, I'll just leave this out here. But anyways, that's besides the point. What I want to tell you guys is this is the tier list that I have of the top fields to get into, to get into in tech. But the thing I want you to remember is it really doesn't matter. There is no right or wrong. And let me go back to the main screen. Yes, and what I want to tell you is like there is no right or wrong. You can pick cybersecurity, you can pick cloud. The best choice you can make is to stick to one field and just grind that one out, right? And niche into that field. Do not learn every single bit of it. The more you niche down, the better, right? If you're getting into cybersecurity, focus on a particular field of cybersecurity. If you're getting into networking, are you focusing on enterprise level networking? Are you focused on working at a small company, MSP? Are you working on wireless? Pick a specific lane, and then I promise you're going to have way more success doing that, right? So those are the types of fields. I know maybe you guys are more confused. Maybe your field was in S tier, maybe it wasn't B tier, maybe it wasn't the tier that you wanted, but that doesn't matter. Right? What matters is you picking a field, you making that decision. Like I said, this is just from my personal preference, from what I've seen, from how easy it is to get into, how well they pay. These are the best fields to get into in 2025. So thank you guys so much, guys, for tuning in. If you guys need help on how to become a network engineer, please go ahead and click the link in my description where I can show you exactly step by step on how to become a network engineer with zero experience. And with that being said, everyone, thank you so much for your time. It really means the world to me. If you guys need help, let me know, and leave a comment, give it a like, and subscribe. And thank you guys so much, and peace.